What is going on YouTube? Jay here from MJTech. Today I got something here very exciting, and I think a lot of you guys can agree with this, that well, today in this video I just want to show you how you can make your old Honda, regardless of the model, you can make it modern again with this cool technology that is coming out. In this particular case I got this from seicane.com, but it's also available on places like eBay and Amazon as well, but I decided to go with seicane just because this one in particular offers built-in wireless CarPlay. Now, as you guys know, I've had dongles for cars with OEM radios that have already CarPlay. You use a dongle to make it wireless, but now with this one here, it's already built in, which is a great feature in my opinion. The radio was only about $252, but with the taxes, or not taxes, excuse me, with the shipping, it was about $306 in total, and it took about 10 to 12 days to arrive here to the United States. I also installed a wired camera that looks like an OEM type of camera, the ones that we see now on modern vehicles. So I got this from Amazon with the Prime service. I already hooked it up. Super easy to do. You simply find the positive and negative from your reverse light. You hook up the wires from there, and then you run the wire all the way to the front of the car. You might need to disassemble or take apart some of the plastic so that you can hide the wire, and then you bring it all the way to your glove compartment and behind the radio, of course, and that's all you have to do, guys. It's a very self-explanatory. There's a lot of videos out there on how to do this, but this is the camera that I'm using, and it was only $17.99 from Amazon. I will be leaving the link down below. So hopefully it's a good quality camera. I haven't tested it out yet. And then the lighter connector that we have on the Honda, which is the OEM one that is right below the radio, I'm going to replace it for this USB hub. So getting here now to the radio, this is a 7-inch display, and it has a resolution of 1040, I believe, by 600. So it is a almost 720p display, and if you guys look here, this is how the picture looks now, which is the one on the upper side, and the radio will look like the picture on the lower side, and that's very cool. And this is basically a double din radio, again 7-inch display, and it comes with the harness. It's already hooked up so that you can just plug and play. You don't have to cut wires or put wires together in order to get this done. So here we have things like the manuals. Here we have the harnesses. I can see already the GPS antenna. And this is, it comes equipped with Android 10.0, which is quite updated. That's very cool. So here we have the harness. This is the one that goes to the radio and then to the Honda. Like we got here, the antenna plug right here. And they just zip tied it, everything together. But you can see how this is basically a regular harness in which they put together as one piece. And these are extra harnesses in case you want to start adding certain features to the car, like a subwoofer and stuff like that. We got here the GPS antenna. We get the USB ports. Now, these USB ports, they have to be plugged in on the back side of the radio. Then I'm going to plug this in here. So that way, when I plug something here, which is going to be on the lower side of the radio, then the radio should react to it. So this is in case I think I want the wire CarPlay, then I have that option here. So then we have here some mounts, and this here is very important. This is for your reverse camera. So there we have it, guys, for the harnesses. Then we got here the dash kit that came from seicane. Now this here is an off-brand. I guess they make them as well. Seicane, they manufacture a lot of their parts. So here we can see the dash kit. Again, nothing special. We have seen this in the past. And finally, we have the radio, and it comes in this bubble wrap. So here we have the unit, and again, here we can see that even maybe some of these holes will just connect as a plug and play with the car's bracket. We're gonna see that here in just a second, but of course we have to disassemble now the Honda Civic, and then we're gonna see if this is truly a plug and play. Here we have the back side of the radio. We got the GPS connection right here. The FM, AM antenna goes here, the main harness, and then these connectors, well, the main harness gets connected right here, and then these are for the extra accessories that I just mentioned in case you're installing like the reverse camera and stuff like that. You would plug it right in there. And this casing is made out of metal. It seems very well built. Here we have that 7-inch display. again with a resolution of 1040 by 600, so almost 720p. It is IPS. It comes with 2 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, Android 10.0, wireless CarPlay, and of course wired CarPlay as well. So again, you get all the bells and whistles. It comes here with a microphone and so on and so forth, and even a reset button right there. So again, these are capacitive buttons, so you don't have to worry about those buttons breaking. These are all operated by touch. And so now guys, let's go to the Honda Civic and finish the video there. Alright guys, so this is the Civic that I've been bragging about. This is the 2005. I just got some new tires on. I did a little bit of work, like the bearings were making a little bit of noise, so I got that replaced. I did the rotors together with the brake pads and the brake shoes. And the last thing I did, I got it tinted. It is a little bit dirty now, but this car still shines. The paint is original, the whole car is original. And even the hubcaps right here, you guys can see that they still have the Honda logo on them. Again, the whole car is original. The interior, it's super clean. I just added some seat covers, and if we look here at the carpet underneath, you guys can tell that this thing is just in immaculate condition. So again, I got very lucky with this car. The dash still shines, no cracks, no nothing guys. Only 81,000 miles on this particular vehicle, but of course I'm not gonna try and keep you guys here just talking about the car. I'm just gonna show you now all the tools that you will need. In this case, I already have the Phillips screwdriver. I got an electric one, but you can do it fine with the manual one. We have some pry opening tools, and this is a 8mm socket together with the universal joint, so that we can get underneath here and remove 2 screws. And that's pretty much it for now. So the first thing that you must do, well, some people, they disconnect the battery. I never really disconnect batteries. I just do it, I guess I like to take risk. And the only risk here is that we might blow a fuse, but the car doesn't have any power, the switch is off, and this being in 2005, I don't think it has a lot of electronics that can get ruined. So the first thing that you got to do is remove this plastic that surrounds your transmission here, the shifter. You have to remove this ring that goes around it, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I used the pry opening tool and I went right underneath it and I popped it out. It took literally seconds. The second piece that we need to remove is this one right here. I just went underneath and popped it out. That made it a little bit easier, but the piece, as you can tell, comes right off and it's just held by clips. So now our next step is to remove these 2 Phillips screws. We just removed those 2 Phillips screws. Our next step is that, well, with the pry opening tool here, just start going around the corners, and we had to remove this piece right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Again, it does require a little bit of force just because of the fact that this car has never been messed with in the past. So as you can tell, I am taking them little by little. I just took off this side. I'm going to take off this side, and hopefully this whole assembly comes right off. I think you have to pull it towards you so that the other clips can come off, and the whole assembly here is going to be coming right off. And here it is guys, I just pulled it out. The best way to do this is that after you remove these 2 sides, just grab them from each side with both of your hands and gently pull towards you. And there, as you can tell, there's going to be a few clips that need to come out from this side. That's why you need to pull it. Just apply a little bit of force, but not, you know, not to where you're going to break it. And then right behind here we have the cigarette lighter 12-volt plug. Remove that and this whole assembly will come right off. So we got this piece off after removing that connector that goes in the back side, and this is the 12-volt socket that I'm telling you guys that I'm going to replace. As you can tell, this is just a regular standard one. I'm going to be replacing it with this one here that I mentioned before. And again, I got this from Amazon, so that way it'll look as factory as possible. Our next step is to remove 2 8mm bolts that are right here. There's one here, and then the other one is hiding in the corner over here. And that's when you're going to need this universal joint with the 8mm socket to get it out, especially the one on the right side corner here on the passenger side. That one is a little bit hard to get to, but it's not impossible. Let me remove those 2, and then after that we can start pry opening here the whole radio assembly. Alright guys, so I'm not sure if you can see this right underneath here, but there was one bolt right there and the other bolt was right in there. So what I would suggest is that you use your ratchet first and then just grab the whole socket with your hands and turn it. It's really easy to do, so that way you don't have to keep using your ratchet all the way until it comes out. It makes it a lot easier. And again, you can also use a Phillips head screwdriver, but it makes it a lot easier if you use the socket instead. Okay, so using this specific pry opening tool, it made the job, wow, a lot easier in my opinion. So basically you go here between the corners and then start popping all the clips and stuff. Just go all the way through the corner. Don't try to force one side more than the other. Just go evenly, and that way you don't run the risk of cracking this bezel right here. So as you guys can tell, I pulled this out already. It's almost out. I just need to disconnect certain harnesses right here. We have the HVAC harnesses. They are held, or to take them off, you just got to press this pin on the side and then just pull them out like so. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but just push this little clip and then it comes right off. You're gonna do the same thing with the lower one, and then there's a few on the back side of the radio. Just pull those out as well, and the whole unit is gonna come right off, guys. It's really self-explanatory. And these are the connectors that you need to remove. Some of them are for the emergency flashers. You got your HVAC harnesses as well. This is the bottom HVAC harness for your AC control and air circulation control and so on. So again, I believe this one is for the emergency lights. And then you have the antenna here. Okay, this is your FM AM antenna coming from the radio itself. And then this particular Honda, you have just one main harness. Now you have to remove this radio from the current front bezel here. So for that, you have to remove the HVAC control. So for this, there's a Phillips screw right there. You see another one right here, and one towards the bottom right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but there's 3 of them that have to be removed so that you can have access here to these screws and bolts right here on the side. And this is what the HVAC control looks like. And by the way, don't get scared if the front knobs come out. That is absolutely normal. I just place them aside together with the 3 screws that I removed. So just place this on the side, and now as you guys can observe right here, we do have access to those screws on the side. A lot easier. After removing the side screws, which are the ones right here on the upper side, we have the 8mm screws. I would recommend using the ratchet for that, and then the bottom ones holding the little cubby hole or the small compartment here on the bottom side, those were easier to remove with just the regular screwdriver, the electric one that I have over here. I was able to remove this whole piece. I just kept the screws aside, and now this is what we get after we remove everything. We got this bezel trim, the one that I showed you guys before from that white box on the unboxing section of the video. And so I ran to a little problem with this thing, and well, with the Dremel tool, luckily I have a rotary tool. Well, I was able to remove these same 3 pre-holes that we have here. These are for some sort of I guess different installation. Well, this car doesn't need them, so I had them on, if you're looking at it from this side, the ones on the driver's side here. And so yes, it had 3 of these things. On the opposite side, I had to Dremel them out, as you guys can tell, and I had to kind of like polish that a little bit because it wasn't allowing this piece to go in here. So this is the update so far. I don't know if you remember with the trim piece that goes on the front side of this bezel. I'm going to try to show you here without the radio falling off. But this trim piece that we just fitted in, we had to cut those pieces on the passenger side where the buttons are. So we got it to fit. As you guys can observe right here, it does fit. But now the radio is not going all the way in. That's because we have clips right here. We have one clip there, one clip there, and we have the same thing here on the other side, one clip here and one clip here. Now there's a little bit, I call it like a little plastic lip. This side is, you can see it a little bit better. This is the radio, and this right here is plastic. So what we're gonna have to do using the Dremel tool, I'm gonna have to take some off of the radio right here around this area so this can slide in, because it is preventing it from the screen going all the way in. Another thing here is that I'm using the brackets that came with the bezel trim, and so these brackets This is for like a different double din, I guess for a longer double din. So we're gonna have to cut these right here, the factory mounts, as you guys can observe. With the Dremel tool, I'm gonna have to cut them a little bit more so that this can get lower down, and then we can fit the bolts holding here the radio in place. And this is the end result right here, guys. I was able to get the brackets mounted to the radio as well as on the bezel itself. I had to cut it even with the rest of the edge here, and I'm talking about those pieces that I mentioned where the screws were. I had to cut them all flat, and on the other side as well. And then here I had to just take off from this tab, but here, as you guys can observe, there's like a little curve. I had to take it off just so that I could fit the screw in. This is what it looks like on the front side. You guys can observe that everything is nice and flush now. So what we're gonna do is go back to the car, pre-connect it, and see if it starts and works. Alright guys, so we just ran into another issue. This company didn't send the right harness. This is not compatible with the harness that came from factory, which is this one right here. If you guys look closely, the design is not, this one is more rectangular and wider, and this one is more squarish. Comparing it to this, I tried fitting it in and it doesn't fit. Luckily for me, these colors for wires are quite standard, so that means that I can just buy the correct one, cut it from here, and then attach the new harness into this, and so that way we can get it working. Alrighty guys, so the night has hit a little bit here. I am pre-testing the radio. I needed to get another harness by Metra. Like I told you guys, by the time I searched like 5 stores locally, finally Best Buy here in the United States had it. And it is the Metra 70, like 70-1721. That's the one that works with the Honda LX. This is the harness. After I put it on, it's kind of hard to get it back out, so I just decided to leave it there. You never know what could happen. So anyways, here you guys can observe the connection that I got done on here. So basically, this harness, which had the other harness that didn't fit the vehicle, so from here to here is the new Metra. Again, 70-1721. I just hooked up the wires by colors. The orange goes with orange, that's for your dimmer. Then you have the yellow, that's for your memory / 12 volts plus, so on and so forth. The only 3 wires that I didn't need to use so far is one that was already covered, which is this brown one. It says back on it, so that could be for the back camera trigger. Before we continue with any further testings, I went ahead already and installed here the HVAC buttons. And if you guys remember, I had to take it out just because of those screws that were on the side here. So I went ahead and put them back, and everything fitted quite well, even with the modifications that were done earlier to fit the aftermarket radio. So far guys, I'm liking what I'm seeing. The installation is almost done. Right now I went ahead and placed here the GPS antenna right underneath here the vent or the duct where the AC blows. So it looks like I'm gonna get good reception. This here is kind of hollow on the inside, so I shouldn't have any reception issues. Here's the wire, and this one goes connected here on the back side. It goes bolted right in here. Okay, here I'm going to show you how to get the reverse camera set up correctly. So at first I connected the RCA wire here, so the female to the male, and I wasn't getting a reverse response from the camera. So that's when you have to connect this red wire, in which almost every reverse camera has. You have to connect the red wire into the trigger wire, or the wire, the brown one that comes from the radio. So you're gonna see this one labeled as back and it's brown in color. You had to get it together with the red wire. You can see that now we have a reverse camera working properly. So let's place it back in park. It turns off, reverse, and boom, it is working. Check that out guys. So it wasn't a headache really. I knew that the trigger wire had to be connected if it didn't get a response. Some radios don't require it, some do, and this is one of them. Now here's the second part that you need to pay attention. As I told you guys, I am experimenting here with this lighter replacement USB. Okay, this is the one that I purchased from Amazon as well, and I was able to get the wire connector. There's two USB wires that come with this that connect on the back side of the radio. You got to use the smaller one, the one with the smaller connection. I'm going to show you exactly where it goes. So the one that connects right here, not the one that has these 6 pins going across here to the sides, is the one that has just the 2 pins. So you have to connect this one here. Let me pull it out. And so this is the one that gave me that response of the CarPlay. The other one didn't. The other one is just for charging, but I'm not going to use both of them. So here you guys can see that again I plugged in now this extra piece right here, and everything is working properly. We are all set here, guys, to reassemble the whole car, and I'll show you the final view in a second. Alrighty guys, so now we got the installation fully completed. As you can tell, everything came out to be as planned. It wasn't an easy installation, to be honest with you, but it was doable, and the radio looks pretty good. The display here really goes to all the edges, as you guys can tell. So again, I'm very pleased with this particular radio, and the cool part about it is that it works as described. So what I mean by that is that, well, first of all, you can see here I have my iPhone, and you don't have anything connected here to the USB hub, in which this is the final result right here. We used to have the regular 12-volt socket that I eliminated, and again, this is the final result of it. So right now I don't have anything connected to it, and you're going to see that once I place the key here and turn on the car, it's going to automatically connect wirelessly. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And the reason I'm showing you this and not focusing on other things of the radio, that's because this is the main highlight, is the wireless CarPlay. So right now it's connecting, and it takes seconds, guys. It's much faster than those boxes that we get, those dongles for OEM cars with CarPlay. This one works almost instant. So here you can see we have YouTube Music, and again it is working as intended, guys. So this is again the main highlight, and of course you can also have it connected directly on here. I'm about to show you that here in just a second. So let's go here into my iPhone, so that way you can see that I am in fact telling you guys everything as it is. So let's go here into general, let's go into CarPlay, and what I'm going to do is turn off here CarPlay. I'm going to forget this car, click on forget again, and you can tell that now we are not connected. However, if I just plug it in, let me show you. If I just plug in my iPhone to the car, you're going to see that now it says connecting again, and it is asking me here if I want to use CarPlay or allow it. So I'm going to click on allow, and now we can see it right there once again. And now here, very briefly, I want to show you guys how to set up your wireless CarPlay on this particular unit. Well, first of all, you have to open your Bluetooth settings. It must be turned on, as you guys can tell, and then your radio is going to be read as Car Kit. So what you do is you open here on the radio itself the multiplay application, and it's going to say waiting. But then when you go ahead and connect to the Bluetooth, and by the way, the default password is 0000, then you click on pair, it'll connect, and from there your phone is going to be read. So this only happens once. You don't have to connect to the Bluetooth in the future. And right now, as you guys can tell, I have successfully connected. Now let's go ahead and exit out of the CarPlay. We know that that works. So here we have the user interface. Another cool part about it is that if I turn on the lights, it goes into dark mode, so that way you don't have that full brightness. And also here the capacitive buttons turn on. I'm going to turn off the lights now, and you can see that the user interface changes as well. So if we go here into settings, we scroll all the way to the bottom to where it says about machine, we can see it right here that we do have pre-installed on the system Android 10.0, guys. So far everything is as described. The only issue that I've had with this radio so far was the harness not being compatible with the Honda Civic, but we are humans, we do make mistakes. Luckily for me, I was able to fix it very quickly by just buying the actual harness and then reconnecting the wires, as you just saw. Other than that, this thing is very as described in my opinion. So the capacitor buttons here on the side, they work very well. We do have a microphone located here in the upper left hand side corner of the radio. You can also get your aftermarket one and then just run it here through the pillar and get it up to like around this area here. So here we have the FM radio. Let's go ahead and click on it and get it working. Let's increase the volume here, and you guys can hear that. Once you get it the volume set, you can do it by touching it. You don't have to keep pressing on the capacitive button. So as you guys can tell, that is working well. Let's go back here to the home page, and keep in mind that you can change this user interface as well. You have here the themes page, and you have like 3 different options to choose from. I like the one by default, so I'm gonna leave it there. We have here file browser, in which you can find all your pictures and stuff. I believe we have some MP4 files on here, and they are just some videos from the Chinese, as you guys can tell right there. So here we have auto kit, and this is for when you're plugging in certain things into the USB hub. Personally, I haven't used it yet, but I will in the future. We have here the Play Store, and again, that is working as intended. We have the amplifier, in which you can change your settings for sound. I have it on rock right now. This is the best option that I found suitable based on the speakers that I have and this particular car, but every car is going to be different. In case you guys want to purchase this as a regular double din for a different vehicle, you can do so as well. This app right here, MultiPlay, this is for your wireless and wired CarPlay. If you click on it, it'll say waiting. All you need is your phone to plug it in, and that's pretty much it. If we scroll here to the side once more, we have applications that were pre-installed on here. They do help somewhat. Here we have GPS test. Let's go ahead and click on it. You guys can see how fast it locked that signal. So that's because we have the antenna up here. And also it came, in case you guys don't have a smartphone in handy, which I doubt, but in case you don't, you have the iGo Primo, and this preloaded application gives you all the maps, and it doesn't require internet connection. It just uses the GPS antenna, and it works flawlessly as well. We have Spotify, Netflix is working on here, and I don't think I'm logged in yet, but yeah, we might have to connect to the internet later. And here we have YouTube. We have the tire pressure monitoring system that doesn't work for this particular vehicle, and also the steering wheel, what they call study, so you can program it. We don't have the controls on this vehicle, and of course we have Sirius XM, but this doesn't work right now because we don't have the dedicated antenna for it either. So there's just a few things that won't work. But the main feature, in my opinion, of this particular unit is the fact that it comes with Android. It's Android 10. It has 2 gigs of RAM, so that makes it a little bit easier to multitask with different applications. And now let's go ahead and turn on the car so that way you guys can see that the reverse camera is working perfectly well. So I had to connect that trigger wire in order to get it working completely. But if we hit reverse, you guys can see, I'm going to back up a little. You can see that it's working. Now when I move the steering wheel, it doesn't move the lines like on other vehicles that we have seen in the past. But this $17.99 camera, it's actually quite good. It's only $18. I got it from Amazon with the Prime service, and it's quite impressive. So again, it works almost instant. You can see there's only like about a second and a half delay. Let me put it back on neutral. Let's place it back on reverse, and you guys can see that based on those clicks, it's very quick. So again, that's because maybe we have it wired all the way here from the back to the front, and the wireless one, they usually take a little longer. I have one myself on the Honda Pilot. But with this being said, guys, let me know down below what you think about this head unit for the Honda Civic 2001 to 2005. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.